ate meat. You know what I don't have now? An iron deficiency, because I eat so many vegetables and a lot of those dark leafy greens, which are full of iron and full of so many things that
and
we
calcium.
think... Calcium.
Calcium's
That's the
another
other one, yeah.
Yes.
The most easy way to get your daily calcium is sesame seeds. Have like 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds and you're great.
Exactly.
You don't need to have it. You know, when I was a kid, I thought that milk was the healthiest thing. I really did. I loved having a big, tall glass of milk. But, I mean, I probably get more calcium now. You don't get a lot of the horrible things in milk. Even if you think about the hygienic aspect of that and put that to the side and you just focus on the macros. When I wasn't even vegetarian, I stopped drinking milk because I didn't like the macros. I thought, like, so much carbohydrate and sugars within there that I don't need. And I just didn't think that the, you know, fat, protein, carb balance was something that was worthy of being in my diet.
Yeah, interestingly, the countries that consume the most dairy are also the countries with the highest incidence of osteoporosis. So we've always been told that to, you know, drink our milk to get the calcium and fend off osteoporosis. This is totally false. It's the reverse of that. We have to stay away from dairy in order to stay away from
calcium is important, but dairy is a hindrance.
Exactly. There's other things.
I guess Murray's referring to Asians in particular are lactose intolerant, and they have the lowest incidence of osteoporosis. Well, I think we've been brainwashed by the milk industry to say that
you can't walk down the street without, you know, I think every bus stop in this neighborhood specifically has something by the, you know, Dairy Farmers of Canada where they go, you know, they'll show an athlete and they go, well, he couldn't do that without milk, so you know, you go home and drink a nice tall glass.
There's lots of vegan athletes out there these days.
There are.
Like yourself, you know, and so I think that fallacy is being disproven.
Nimai Delgado, I think I'm pronouncing his first name correctly. I encountered him on the Rich Roll podcast, and he's very fascinating because he's never eaten meat once in his life. He was raised vegetarian, and then after, I think it was during or after university, he went vegan, and it was during his transition that he started bodybuilding, and now, I mean, he's won so many championships, and when he first started winning, people would go, what do you eat? And he would say, actually, I'm vegan. People go, oh. And then nobody cares anymore. But now, you know, and he's huge, right? And very great guy who quit his career to go into coaching people and converting people to veganism. So you can absolutely, you know, I love that you know, people go, well, I make sure that you're being healthy about it. I just laugh because how can you not be healthy about it if you're caring about health and that's why you're going into it? You're going to be a lot more healthy than the people who are healthy eating meat.
Absolutely. I mean, if you notice when you're in the grocery store, the people in front of me and behind me in their carts are not very healthy foods. And other vegans that I know, I mean, you're much more attuned to your health.
Because you're looking at the ingredients because you don't trust anything. And then, every once in a while, and don't get me wrong, vegan foods fall into this as well. Like, you're looking at something, what in the hell is natural vegan flavors? I need to Google that,
yeah,
you know.
Is that on the shelf?
Yeah, but I mean, you notice that with all sorts of foods, and you go, like, what is this dye? And then if you look up one of these things that seems really benign, and you find out that it's not vegan, you go, hey, what, how? I found that myself with, you know, I was looking for a pre-workout supplement a while back, which I use every once in a while, and I used to think, well, you know, it's all just like powder with like energy stuff, you know, and caffeine. Why would any of these not be vegan? And then I realized most of these are not vegan. And so I had to go looking for specific vegan-friendly ones, and they're certainly out there, but there are so many substances, so many of these supplements that, you know, contain just trace amounts of casein, and don't get me started on how whey is overused in the athletic, you know, it's always being spouted as the perfect protein for an athlete. And I would argue any protein is the perfect protein for an athlete. If you're getting the idea of this complete protein, if you're, and that's another thing that was mentioned in the book, the China study, is this myth about, you know, well, it's not a myth. It's true that animal protein has that complete protein, yes. But if you are eating a wide variety of vegetables in your daily diet, those proteins are all coming together and forming complete proteins in your body. Absolutely.
I mean, all the proteins that animals have animals got them from plants to begin with.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's not like they invented the protein.
Why would we not go right to the source instead of using this recycled protein?
Right.
I saw a fantastic video by a doctor. Oh, his name is escaping me right now. But a brilliant man who was talking about this exact point, that A, it's better on our digestion, but also, yeah, why not go right directly to the source? I will say to anybody listening, if you are on the fence about the health benefits of veganism, this is the pushiest that I will get, is on the health side, is like, my God, read the China study, because I remember lying in bed and reading the part about eggs, and I was like, you know what? I had said, to some people, like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna eat less eggs, and I'm just gonna eat like 1 or 2 a week, and and that's gonna be so much better for my heart. And then I read in the book that the people who eat 2 eggs a week have, I think, 45% higher of a chance of developing cancer than those who eat no eggs.
Yeah. I mean, another thing is, for anybody interested in a plant-based diet, too, I would suggest that you watch a couple documentaries. What the Health is one, and the other one is called Forks Over Knives.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, they're both great, and they're very comprehensive, again, too, from a lot of studies. And they're both available on either Netflix or YouTube.
That's great, and that's the thing about veganism, is if you want to get educated about it, it's very accessible. As I said, it's good to do your own research, and if you want to go and look for more formal things like the China study and find things that are very peer reviewed, and if you need to get something right from a journal, that's out there as well. If you're more of the scientific, it's out there. You don't need to rely on documentaries, and certainly there are documentaries that don't give the whole picture, so it's important to do your research. But if you want an introduction to any of these things, there are so many documentaries around, and if you ever do see people protesting from Be Fair, Be Vegan, people here that I'm sitting with right now, I mean, people aren't going to just yell at you and tell you that you're evil. That's not the point. The point is, okay, well, why don't you approach me and we'll have a conversation?
And that's what we do. The Be Fair, Be Vegan campaign is simply to plant seeds in people's minds and part of that campaign, where it's about 16 billboards that blanketed the skyline of St. John's over the last 2 or 3 months, and is just coming to an end now, as well as thousands of pieces of literature that we handed out at the food markets or at Mon or various places.
I've seen them at the in the organic dairy of the grocery store.
Yes, and that's somebody putting them there as well. That's just to plant seeds so people can start to ask questions. And anybody does want to, contact us on St. John's Farm Animal Save, or just go to the Be Fair, Be Vegan website, and all those questions are answered for you.
So besides the website, how can people get in contact with you?
Well, St. John's Farm Animal Save has a website, does it not?
Yeah, well, we're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook.
Okay.
So St. John's Farm Animal Save, you can message us anytime, right?
Okay, great.
And what we do, the Save movement is a movement around the world of about 400 chapters, and St. John's being one of them, that we just basically bear witness at the slaughterhouses in St. John's. It's downtown, or it's down in Kitty Vitty, and it's simply 50,000 chickens that get slaughtered there every day to provide chickens for the Newfoundland market. So,
chicken nuggets, may I go? Yeah. It's all chicken, and that's the biggest part is that so these chickens are losing their lives to be put into another overly processed, preserved food that even if you take the health risks of consuming meat alone out of it, okay, well then you add all that preservative stuff, and I mean it's just even worse. So animals are losing their lives just to make us more unhealthy. It's just I don't see the reasoning for any of it. I am going to start wrapping things up now as we are approaching the end of the hour. So if you are interested in learning more about adopting a plant-based diet or activism, you can go onto that Facebook group. Is there any other social media that you guys would like to plug?
Well, yes. I mean, the premier group in Newfoundland, in St. John's for sure, is NL Vegans.
Okay.
And that's a great resource.
Yeah, I'm on that group.
You're on that? Yeah, that's a great resource because you can go there and ask any question, and people are very eager to answer your questions about health, the environment, and as it all relates to eating animal products.
I'm actually going to plug a group myself. And I don't know if you guys are members of this group as well, but Plant-Based Positivity is a great, I believe it's St. John's based or Newfoundland based group where I've gotten a lot of restaurant recommendations from there beyond the staples, but they have a lot of great coffee.
And the last one I'm going to plug is Vegans on the Rock.
Oh yeah, I'm on that one too.
Which is another new site, and again, all of them have will answer your questions, and people are more than happy to talk to people, meet them, or just send recipes to them, or talk about ethics, environment, animals, health, all those issues with you.
Well, once again, if there's anything that people listening to this episode can take away from this, it is that you don't need to eat animals to be healthy. You don't have to become a master chef who spends hours in the kitchen to have a great tasting vegan diet. And it's not going to impair your athletic performance if you're being mindful of what you are consuming. And it's not going to break the bank if you're not buying all of these meat substitutes. You can just, meat is so expensive. So instead of buying meat, just buy more vegetables and be conscious of your sources of your macros and the vitamins and minerals that you're putting in your body, and you're just facilitating a great life of optimal health.
Absolutely. I would recommend also, for somebody just seeking it out, is to check out some of these documentaries on ethics. Dominion, Earthlings, Land of Open Glory. There are 3 documentaries.
There's a showing of Dominion soon, is there not?
Yes, here at MUN.
Here at MUN.
It's on, I forget the date.
I think it's the 8th, is it? November 8th?
I think it's the 8th of November, yes.
So to anybody listening...
And that's the MUN Vegan Society. In fact, that's in conjunction with St. John's for Animal Safety.
And the MUN Vegan Society has a lot of great events that they do here and there. So definitely keep your eye open for that. Stephen Murray, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your experience and the things that make you passionate with the listeners and myself. I always have room to grow. I don't think we ever stop growing.
Absolutely.
I'm still quite new to this, so I'm happy to soak in as much of it as I can. So I thank you both once again for coming onto the show. Thank you so much for joining me here today. To all of you lovely listeners out there, when you listen to this show, it provides me with a lot of purpose for the things that are on my mind and on my heart. And I just really do enjoy spreading the positivity that I feel inside of myself. So I am going to plug the social media again. If you want to get in contact with me, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Annie Gets Healthy. That's ANNII Gets Healthy. On Twitter at AnnieKHealth. And you can also email me at anniegetshealthy@gmail.com. Once again, thanking you for listening, thanking my guests for joining me, and I do look forward to speaking with you all next week. Next week is actually going to be the last episode of this semester for me. It's going to be a solo episode where I touch on a few topics regarding stress and coping with the holidays for various reasons, so make sure that you tune in to that episode. But until next week, I love you all. I thank you for providing me with your company, and please love and forgive yourselves, as I know that you're doing the best you can right now with what you have available to you. So I will see you all next week.